Beneath the sacred stones of Vatican City, beyond the secret archives and the treasure vaults, there is a place that even the oldest cardinals do not dare to mention. An underground prison where the Catholic Church keeps captive the most dangerous creatures that have ever walked the earth. For more than 1,000 years, the Vatican has not only been the spiritual center of Christianity, but also the guardian of secrets that defy all human understanding. And the darkest of all these secrets is the existence of a supernatural prison that houses entities which, if they were to escape, could plunge the world into absolute chaos. This prison does not appear on any official map. There are no guided tours that go there. Not even the highest-ranking priests know its true extent. Only a select group of guardians, known internally as the custodians, have access to this underworld, where the sacred and the profane face off in an eternal battle. According to my informant, in the darkest depths of the Vatican there are hundreds of creatures whose existence would forever change our understanding of reality. Creatures that have been hunted, captured, and locked away for centuries, some since the very dawn of Christianity. Stay with me and I will reveal to you the most chilling secrets of the Catholic Church. 5 supernatural entities that they keep imprisoned in their secret prison. From the first gargoyle in history, to biblical giants who survived the Great Flood, ancient demons and spiders that can condemn the human soul. And don't even think about missing the end, because the last creature I'm going to show you is so dangerous that it requires 24-hour surveillance. I'm El Documentalista, and this is the Vatican's secret prison. 5 creatures they keep captive. From the shadows to the light, from mystery and intrigue. And I discovered that in the midst of truth, there are parallel worlds, and through my mistakes I learned humility, making a pact with the sky. I am El Documentalista. First of all, I want to ask you a small favor. If this content is helpful to you, please share, comment, like, and subscribe. Your support makes a difference. Thank you. The history of this supernatural prison dates back to the 12th century when Pope Alejandro III ordered the construction of special cells beneath St. Peter's Basilica. These chambers were officially used to store sacred relics. The reality is very different. The earliest records speak of the capture of entities that had tormented Christian villages during the Crusades. Creatures the soldiers of faith met in the Holy Land couldn't be destroyed by normal means, leaving perpetual confinement as the only option. As the centuries passed, the prison expanded, new levels were excavated, specialized cells were built, and security protocols were developed. They combined Christian faith with occult knowledge that the Church prefers to keep secret. I'll make a video about that later. But the first creature on our list is perhaps the oldest of all the Vatican's prisoners. Her name is Garsula, and according to secret records, she is the mother of all gargoyles, the first of her kind and the most powerful. Garsula was captured in the year 1348 during the outbreak of the Black Plague that devastated Europe. The Inquisitors found her lurking in the towers of Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, where she had remained motionless for decades, pretending to be a decorative sculpture. What makes Garsula truly terrifying is not her grotesque appearance as living stone, but her unique power. Everything her saliva touches instantly turns to stone. The records of the Vatican describe how this creature had petrified dozens of people who got too close to the cathedral towers. Her cell is a 10-meter wide circular chamber, fully lined with blessed lead and consecrated salt. The walls are engraved with Bible verses in Latin, Hebrew, and Aramaic. 3 times a day, a specialized priest sprinkles holy water through a grate. Not to harm the creature, but to keep it in a state of controlled lethargy. Garsula remains chained to the center of the cell with shackles forged from blessed metal. It's the sole substance that can hold her supernatural strength. The guards never enter her cell directly. Everything is done through remote mechanisms installed by Vatican engineers specialized in paranormal containment. The second section of this underground prison houses what the documents call the demonic collection. Several cells hold demons from various eras and powers, captured during 2 millennia of exorcisms and spiritual battles. Each demon was captured during failed or incomplete exorcisms when the entity could not be completely expelled, but only contained. The process of demon capture is one of the Vatican's best-kept secrets, known only to the highest-ranking exorcists and perfected over centuries of clandestine practice. Among the most dangerous demons is Malphas, a builder demon who was captured in 1234 after he built a cursed fortress in Germany that consumed the souls of those who entered it. His cell is specifically designed to prevent him from using his architectural powers. It is a perfect sphere, with no angles or corners where he can focus his energy. There's also Belifer, one of several demons of sloth captured during the Spanish Inquisition when he had plunged entire monasteries into a state of deadly apathy. His prison is a constantly moving chamber with walls that shift every few minutes, to keep him agitated and prevent him from entering the state of rest that gives him his power. The most recent addition to this collection is Castelluge, another demon of lust captured in 1978 during a mass exorcism at a convent in France. His cell is isolated and surrounded by sacred symbols that constantly display images of purity and holiness. To counteract their corrupting influence, each demon requires a specific containment protocol. Some require absolute silence. Others must be constantly exposed to Gregorian chants, and the most dangerous ones require the permanent presence of sacred relics to weaken their supernatural power. It is said that in the deepest level of the Vatican prison, there is a creature that defies all logic. The CIS, the colossal bird of the firmament, mentioned in apocryphal texts and in Psalm 50:11. It is an entity of biblical proportions that, according to Jewish tradition, is the aerial equivalent of the monster, Leviathan. Sis was captured in the year 856 during a secret Vatican expedition to the Caucasus Mountains. The creature had been seen by local shepherds, who reported a bird so large that when it spread its wings, it darkened the sky. Its song was so powerful that it could bring down mountains and destroy entire armies with sonic vibrations. The capture required a temporary alliance between the Vatican and the Byzantine Empire. They used a combination of nets forged with blessed iron, chants from more than 100 monks singing simultaneously, and an elaborate trap in an artificial cavern built specifically to contain the beast. The capture process lasted 3 months. First, they meticulously cut its flight feathers using blades dipped in water from the Jordan River. Then they tied its wings with special ropes and finally transported it in a mobile cage that required 100 men to move it to its final prison in the Vatican. CIS's cell is the largest in the entire prison, an underground chamber 50 meters high and 30 meters in diameter. The walls are covered with blessed mirrors that infinitely reflect its image, creating an optical illusion that confuses the creature and prevents it from orienting itself to attempt an escape. It is believed that the creature remains chained to the floor with chains forged from metal from Noah's Ark, the only material that has proven capable of containing its divine strength. Its beak is covered with a mask made of blessed gold to prevent it from emitting its destructive songs. Do you think creatures like that could really exist? What comes next is going to make you question everything you know about biblical history. One of the most shocking revelations from the Vatican's secret archives. It's the confirmation that the Nephilim, the biblical giants mentioned in Genesis, not only exist, but that some of them survived the Great Flood. The Vatican has been systematically hunting them for centuries. The Nephilim were the children of the sons of God and the daughters of men, giants with supernatural knowledge who corrupted humanity. Before the flood, according to Genesis, they were all destroyed by the waters sent by God, but secret documents reveal that some managed to survive by taking refuge in deep caves and inaccessible mountains. The first Nephilim captured by the Vatican was found in the year 1203 in the Swiss Alps by an expedition of Templar monks. He was over 4 meters tall, possessed enormous strength, and spoke languages that had disappeared before the flood. Even more disturbing, he demonstrated knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and alchemy that was centuries ahead of his time. Since then, the Vatican has established a secret division known as the Giant Hunters, an elite group of priests, soldiers, and nuns specifically trained to locate, capture, and transport surviving Nephilim. Their methods include tracking local legends, analyzing geological anomalies, and following up on giant sightings reported by rural populations. Currently, the Vatican holds more than 30 Nephilim captive in its special cells, designed to contain their size and superhuman strength. Each cell is 8 meters high and built with stone blocks extracted from Mount Sinai, the only material that has proven effective in dealing with them. The Nephilim possess knowledge that the Church considers extremely valuable but also dangerous. They know secrets about the creation of the world, the location of lost sacred objects, and magical techniques that predate all known religions. However, according to the records, none has ever revealed any significant information, maintaining absolute silence during centuries of captivity. The containment protocol includes special feeding with grains grown in blessed soil and daily exposure to biblical readings in ancient languages, and the constant presence of sacred relics that keep their supernatural powers at manageable levels. But the fifth and most disturbing creature in the Vatican's secret prison on this list is an entity that combines physical horror with spiritual corruption. The Tarantula of Sin is a creature that's half demon, half insect, which terrorized Europe during the Middle Ages. This is not an ordinary spider. It's a black hairy tarantula the size of a plate, but with demonic features that make it infinitely more dangerous than any natural spider. Its venom is not only physically toxic, but it also has spiritual properties that corrupt the human soul. According to medieval records, anyone bitten by the Tarantula of Sin would immediately fall into one of 3 states. Uncontrollable lust that led to acts of sexual depravity, complete madness that erased all rationality, or such deep suicidal depression that the person actively sought their own death. Curiously, the only known remedy to counteract its venom is to dance yes, to dance until total exhaustion. From this phenomenon, the famous Tarantula was born, a frenetic dance that supposedly expelled the spiritual venom from the system. Those affected would dance for hours, sometimes days, until they collapsed from exhaustion, at which point the venom seemed to lose its effect. The Tarantula of Sin was captured in 1347 in southern Italy by inquisitors specialized in supernatural creatures. The operation required the participation of sacred musicians who played specific melodies to lure the creature, and trained hunters who caught it using nets woven with blessed silk. Its cell may be the most elaborate in the whole prison. It is divided into 2 compartments connected by a remotely controlled gate. Every night, the tarantula lays between 50 and 100 eggs in the first compartment. These eggs, if they were to hatch, would give rise to new tarantulas of sin which could escape and start a spiritual plague. So every day, exactly at 6 in the morning, 3 specialized guardians arrive for the cleaning protocol. First, they transfer the tarantula to the second compartment using remote mechanisms. Then they enter the first compartment wearing blessed protective suits. And they proceed to meticulously burn each egg using torches lit with sacred fire. The process must be completed before 8 in the morning because at that time, it is said, the eggs reach enough maturity to hatch. If they fail in this daily task, hundreds of tarantulas of sin could be born simultaneously, creating a supernatural catastrophe of unimaginable proportions. The mother tarantula remains active 24 hours a day, constantly watched by special cameras and monitored by guardian teams who take turns every 8 hours. Her venom remains potent after 700 years of captivity, and her mere presence generates an aura of malevolence that psychologically affects those who get too close. The security protocols for this creature include monthly psychological exams for all guardians, mandatory rotation every 3 months to avoid prolonged exposure, and the constant presence of an exorcist priest during each surveillance shift. These 5 creatures represent only a fraction of what is supposedly found in the depths of the Vatican. The leaked documents mention other entities, original vampires captured before popular legends even existed, ancient lycanthropes that predated mankind, wolves from folklore, and beings that have no name because their nature defies all human understanding. Running this supernatural prison takes huge resources. It is estimated that the Vatican allocates millions of euros annually to maintain the cells, paying specialized guards, acquiring sacred materials for containment, and developing new security technologies that combine modern science with ancient mystical knowledge. But the most disturbing question is, why keep these creatures alive? Why not destroy them completely? The theories range from the physical impossibility of eliminating them to speculation that the Vatican is studying them to better understand the nature of evil and to develop defenses against future supernatural threats. Some documents suggest that these creatures are part of an apocalyptic plan. According to Christian prophecies, in the final days, all the forces of evil will be unleashed upon the earth. Is it possible that the Vatican keeps these entities as a kind of spiritual arsenal for the end times? Or maybe the truth is even darker. Maybe these creatures possess knowledge or powers that the Catholic Church considers too valuable to destroy, but too dangerous to release. Knowledge about the true nature of reality, secrets about the origin of evil, or supernatural techniques that could alter the balance between good and evil in the world. The existence of the secret prison raises fundamental questions about the nature of faith, the reality of the supernatural, and the limits of institutional power. If these creatures really exist, it means that we live in a world much stranger and more dangerous than we imagine, where the line between mythology and reality is thinner than we think. The guards who have worked in this prison for decades develop a unique perspective on the nature of evil. They witness daily manifestations of forces that defy all scientific and religious logic. Many end their careers deeply changed, with an understanding of the world they cannot share with anyone else. The strictest security protocol is not physical, but psychological. All prison employees must undergo psychological evaluations. Constant. Weekly confessions with specialized priests and mandatory periods of rest in isolated monasteries to purify their exposure to these cursed entities. I am El Dogmentalista, and this was the Vatican's secret prison. 5 creatures they keep captive.